Good morning, everyone. I'm Bilal Malik. You're watching BM TechNet, learning every day. Today, we are going to start our new playlist, which will be on Azure Network Services, and it has below mentioned attributes which we'll be covering in all next upcoming videos. Azure Virtual Network, Azure Load Balancer, then VPN Gateway, Azure Application Gateway, and Content Delivery Network. So today we'll just touch base with very brief detail on all these five sections. Plus, we'll be discussing a bit in detail for Azure Virtual Network. So let's start with the Virtual Network series. Oh, sorry, the Virtual Network attribute. So basically, it's an IaaS service to create and use VM in the cloud. Uh, it's okay, but doesn't make sense, obviously. So let me tell you that it enables many type of Azure resources such as Azure VMs to securely communicate with each other, and it could be between the internet and the on-prem networks. And our virtual network is scoped to a single region. Like if there is a single virtual network, its significance is only with that single region. However, we can have multiple virtual networks from different regions, and we can also connect them through a term called virtual network peering, so that we can have the full convergence with the required segments of the network. Then there is uh, briefly about the load balancer, as the word explains that the main purpose is to load balance behind uh, the VMs. Like it has a pool of VMs. It could be it could be two or more, so that if there is any application which is hosted on those VMs, you can place in your load balance in front of them, and that way you can have a high availability for your service, and you can achieve your goal accordingly. Then there is VPN Gateway, which is also known to be as a virtual network gateway, and it's basically a specific type of virtual network gateway that sends a encrypted traffic between an Azure virtual network and the on-premises location over the public internet. Uh, it provides a more secure connection from on-prem to Azure over the internet. So I can give you an example, very straightforward, that IPsec tunnels which we create between firewalls to firewalls. Same way, uh, you configure that VPN gateway, which is also known as a virtual network gateway on the Azure side. Then you define all that policies and attributes, like what DH group it's going to be, what will be the timeout session, what will be the encryption keys, like 3DES, AES, whatever. Then what will be the hashing algorithm? It's going to be a MD5 or XYZ. So the same settings need to be implemented on the other side, like on the on-prem. And from there, it could be a firewall or it could be a router, which will be creating a tunnel between the on-prem service, on-prem platform up to the Azure on the cloud over the internet. Then there's an application gateway, uh, creates infrastructure based on an event, and application is basically a web traffic load balancer that enables you to manage the traffic of your web application, and it is a connection through which users can connect to your application. So it also load balances the traffic for your application. It is specifically designed for the application. Despite the load balancer, it can do the load balancing for broader term, whereas application gateway is precisely designed for the applications. Then there is CDN, which is also known as a content delivery network, and it's a very common term used when there is a need of better performance and providing the services or the content to the end users in a much faster way, in comparison to the if you are containing or you know capturing or attaining that content from the origin itself. So it helps you, it is a way to get content to the user in their local region more efficiently to minimize the latency. So let's talk a bit more about virtual network gateway in detail. So as I said, there can be uh, multiple resources in a single virtual network other than the virtual machine. Then VM under the same VNet can communicate with each other. Obviously, like if we have this single virtual network and I have defined a subnet out of this uh, major chunk, then these two machines obviously can communicate. Then if we define the same, some different subnet from the same scope from the major virtual network, then obviously they can also communicate. We can, you say virtual machine, virtual machine can communicate with internet by default, but for inbound communication, VM needs to be assigned with the public IP address. Obviously, until unless we do not assign any public IP to the any of the VMs, they wouldn't be able to take any inward traffic without the public address. So, and one more thing here, that public address is itself a separate resource in Azure with its own configuration. You cannot relate that public IP address with this virtual network. Absolutely not. Sorry. Yes, absolutely not. You cannot do that. So then there is a bit a diagram I tried to uh, made for you guys. Like this is the same section which we discussed. We have one virtual network. This is the subnet, and it has a further, we may say, uh, divided into two subnets of 24 or maybe 28, whatever. We'll do the subnetting and make that subnet work. Then that can communicate. But let's say if we add up a separate virtual network of the 10 subnet, right, with all 10 slash 8, right? Now we also place a couple of VMs here. Let's say we have placed a couple of VMs here and we want them to communicate with each other. In the first place, when I configured that virtual network, they will not be able to communicate because they have a different virtual network as well as the different subnets. So for that matter, we can use the functionality of VNet peering, and once we enable that VNet peering, which I will show you in the next upcoming videos, how to create a virtual network and also how to peer between different virtual networks. I'll show that in a demo. So after we have enabled that peering, then they will be easily communicating with each other. So this is a bit detail about the virtual networks. Uh, Thank you for watching this video. Hope you liked it. If yes, then click the like button and subscribe for our upcoming videos. You can also drop your suggestions and remarks in the comments below. Thank you.